Merry Christmas, my friends. I'm so glad that you are here. Rejoice, rejoice. He is here. The little baby God made his appearance today. This is awesome. We have a very special Christmas gift for you. If you've been a listener for a while, you know that it's an old gift returning to us. Old Jonathan Bearded Blevins, one of our old co-hosts, is back for our Christmas episode. And if you haven't listened whenever he was a co-host, this is also a gift for you because you get to hang out with him for the first time here on this show. We have a blast. We go through a lot of the old things that we used to do on this show together, talking faith and sports and family and food and Christmas traditions. The first half of the show is just kind of John and I catching up because he's been up to a lot over the last 2 years whenever he had to leave the show because a lot was going on, and he's settled into some things. We're really, really happy for him. I hope that you enjoy this conversation. Let us know how you feel about our movies and our Christmas, our favorite Christmas movies, our favorite Christmas traditions. And I hope that you have or are enjoying your Christmas. Enjoy today's show. Hello there, and Merry Christmas. I am Taylor Schroll, and boy, do I have a Christmas present for you and for myself today. The long-awaited 2-year return of the one and only Jonathan Leandro Bearded Blevins. Hello, buddy.
Another new nickname. I love it. Hello. It's good
nice
to be. Good to be back, my friend. 2 years seems crazy.
It really is. I thought it had only been one, and then I checked the tapes, and it's been 2.
Oh my gosh, time flies. Back together with your favorite co-host.
Time flies when you're having fun, and you were having a lot of fun without me.
You look like you're doing great, dude.
I am doing okay. It's Christmas, and as we are recording this early. It is still Advent for us, but we're playing pretend on your behalf, listener. I have not yet gone on the cruise that I've been talking about. I have not yet had my Christmas break, so I am still stressed to the max because we're leaving for said cruise tomorrow. But by the time you're listening to this, I'm sure I'm great.
You'll be amazing. Already sunburned.
I am absolutely getting sunburnt over Christmas because we're going to Mexico where it's 70 degrees. Over
I love
Christmas
it.
break. It's going to be great. But enough about me. How we're going to start. Here's what we're doing today. We just haven't talked for an elongated amount of time in 2 years. We've messaged, we've texted, we've talked about gambling a lot through our texting.
Oh my gosh, that is what we talk about, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, that's like our friendship now. We specifically haven't texted about the Lions or Texans, which I think was good for both of us over the last 2 years. But both the good and the bad moments. Neither one of us has rubbed it in the other's face. It's been great.
Yep.
But I have seen from afar a lot of the things that have happened. You have had a very busy 2 years. I've just been kind of chugging along, doing the same thing. And nothing's changed in my life since I've talked to you last. But a lot has changed in your life. So, people who listened to the show for years will remember you. You were a co-host for a very long time. And this is a Christmas gift to them of hey, remember how fun this was? And it's a gift to new people, the 8 people who don't know who you are, since you've become one of the most famous Catholics in the United States of America.
My God. So high bar.
Low bar that you have reached, I think, is actually...
That was the sarcasm.
There you go. There you go. You do remember how this show works. So
I do.
I kind of want to hear the story. I know... I remember why you told me you were leaving, you were busy, and you were starting this whole new venture, and it seems like you've done 2 or 3 other new ventures since then. You finally landed on one. So however quick or fast you want to go through this, what you been doing for 2 years?
You gotta tell me how quick or fast you want me to go through this. We
have an hour.
Okay. Feel free to interrupt and ask any questions.
I will interrupt. That's what I'm best at.
If it's been 2 years, dude, that means that for 1 year, I think I was full-time streaming while you and I were still doing this for a year.
You were, what I remember, I kind of know vaguely there's, in my mind at least, there's been 3 jumps. There was, you had a financier who helped you go full-time streaming, and you were doing that with a small team, and that was the primary thing. And then you kind of, amongst that, also started the Little Flower Media, which I don't know exactly who was involved in that, but you started doing some other not just the stream, continued streaming, but also doing some other like faiths projects. And then I know most recently that you went full time as Bearded Blevins streaming. So I don't know a ton more than that, but
great. That's good.
You left around the financier time with your two other buddies that I met.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That's helpful. So, dude, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Let me just start by saying that it's good to be back. And also, I will never not work for myself ever again. Unless the Lord makes it abundantly clear that like I need to go do something, I will always be my own boss from now on. That's one thing I've learned. It's unbelievable, but it took me a long time to get there, dude. So like you said, I was doing full-time ministry for 15 years, started Little Flower Media with two of my very good friends as business partners, and then two Catholic investors. I tried to minimize as much risk as possible, but still took a huge risk. Jody stays home with the kids, got some Catholic investors to invest in Little Flower Media, and tried it that way. And I won't bore you with all those details, but we learned a lot. The stream continued to grow, but the other things I kind of wanted to happen with it weren't really happening. Rather than firing two of my very good friends who I started this with, one kind of Marco was just kind of like, I'm going to go do this. There's not really a place for me here. And that was his choice. Totally cool. And then McClure and I decided to sell Little Flower Media to a company called BVM, which one of our investors owned and started for his family, kind of a marketing firm with some content creation stuff. I worked with them for a full year, streamed, 6 a.m. until noon or 1 or 2 p.m. every single day, and then sat in meetings from 2 to 5 or 6 p.m. with BVM. That was hell. It was amazing to be with them, but like the work days were crazy. All those meetings on top of streaming, like I was having a hard time. Stream was still going really well. Love those guys at BVM. It was a great experience, but it was just not a good life for me. Like it was just not realistic for me to be a good husband and a good dad.
I remember during that time, I was very surprised because like when you were on the show, especially, it's like you were supporting the ministry that I was doing by coming on once a month. So I wanted to be supportive. So I was probably in your stream more then than I have been now. That's nothing. I have been less, but that's more about how my life has just been busy because
Sure.
life as a husband and father and sole proprietor, it's all very busy. But I would remember, I was like, look, he's going out of his way to spend time here. But then, there was a time where I was spending time. And then that last year that you were on the show, you started streaming from 6 to 1. I'm like, buddy, I'm going to sleep at 6 and waking up around 11, and then I start my workday. Because like when you were streaming in the afternoons, it's like I'm kind of ending my workday 4, 5, 6, and you'd be streaming. I'd pop in, have fun for 30 minutes, and then go hang out with my kids. And then you started streaming at 6 a.m., and I'm like, I guess this just isn't for me anymore.
Yep, 100%. Well, it's funny because the consistency of being live at 6 or 7 a.m. every single day for a couple of years has really been what's grown the channel in a huge way.
It's so crazy to me. Like it's just great. Like because it's an entertainment thing. I just obviously I'm not every consumer, but I just we all kind of make assumptions in that way, right? Where it's just like a lot of my entertainment happens towards the end of the day when I'm done with stuff, and I'm just like. I did see the stream grow, and I see all the stuff that you post. I'm like, it's all going very great. I'm like, I'm glad it's working for a lot of people because it's not working for me. But I'm glad it's working for you. I'm glad it's working for them.
I will tell you, I do miss streaming at night. I do need to get some more night streams in and afternoon streams because there are people who love that. But a majority of my audience are people that are either stay-at-home moms or dads, or people who work from home or have are very high up in their job, and so they can just be on their computer watching all day long. And so I'm just like kind of like what the company that they have during their work days. I'm sure a lot of people who listen to your podcast, I'm sure are listening at work and on their commute and stuff like that. So I just want to clarify, like working with BVM was amazing, and I learned more than I ever could have imagined. So when I say hell, I just meant for me personally and my work life and my own balance, it was just not a good fit. But I knew that I was called to keep streaming. I knew that that I had something here. And so I went from Little Flower Media to BVM to having a really hard conversation with my mentor and investor where I told him, like, I feel like the best way for me to do this and support my family is to do it on my own. And that meeting was like 2 hours. I was the most nervous I've ever been. He handled it beautifully. We had a great conversation. And so now as of June or July this past year, I am Bearded Blevins LLC. I am by myself. Everything that I do, like if I get an editor to edit videos, like that's my decision. I'm completely on my own, which is brand new for the first time ever. And I've loved it. A lot more stress, but it's been a huge blessing. And the big projects I'm doing now, I'm live, 30 hours a week on Bearded Blevins. I do a Blevins Bro sports show with my two brothers, which is going really, really well. And then I've done a podcast with BVM and Mrs. Ruby, as you know, called Is This for Kids? Which has gone super well for like a brand new podcast in the last year and a half. and I'm continuing. Those are kind of my three big projects before I launch an interview style thing that I'll be doing sometime in the next few months. That's the short version.
No, it's very, very good. It's very funny. Miss Ruby actually, we don't message all that often. We maybe talk a few times a year, but she literally randomly messaged me on Twitter today, like a DM, and I was like, oh, something I just assumed it was because you're coming on to record today. And no, she was inviting me to some creator conference that I can't afford. And I was like, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. And then, but essentially I was like, it is very ironic because I just assumed when I saw her name, like literally an hour ago, I just assumed she was going to, giving me some crap about recording with you today or whatever. And I was, and then so immediately I went to I assumed the message was, are you stealing my co-host? I'm like, lady, you stole mine.
That's funny. I never even thought of that.
It was funny because, I'm fat, ugly, and bald, but I used to be a blonde. So over the last 2 years, you just upgraded blonde co-host. That's all you've done.
Oh my gosh. I've seen pictures of you when you were young, my friend. You're still a handsome guy now, but my goodness, young and strapping.
You're right that I used to be. It has been a millennia, and also Miss Ruby probably always wins that argument. She's a very lovely woman. So
she is. She's great. She's great. That's been a lot of fun. I will tell you, dude. One of the most stressful things about streaming, like for me personally, over the last few years, has been that like when you have a normal job, any job where you're not live, unless you're like in a coal mine or something. Like you can take a break here and there, 5 minutes, make a phone call, catch up with a friend, send a text, catch up on emails. Like you have a snack, not have 1,000 people know that you're taking a crap, like all kinds of things. But people bug me all the like Ruby will sub in my channel and be like, hey, John, you're supposed to email this person back. And I'm like, don't put that in my live stream. So today that's what she did. She's like, you're supposed to email Kyle back about this conference thing. And I'm like, Ruby, now I'm stressed. Like, leave me alone. Let me be live.
That's very funny. I got in a recent argument, and you and I had it wasn't a real blow up, but we did have a blow up on the show when you were a regular co-host about phone calls. And we all know your etiquette about phone calls. You're like, do not call me. Do not FaceTime me.
Yeah. When you call me, I'm like, who died?
Yeah. So I only call you now. That's all I do. But it was very funny. I had one recently, and it's a generational thing. You're just a little bit older than me, but we're the same generation. But there's somebody in our life now that through work and ministry and family and stuff, they're in my life, but they're like one of these what's after us, Gen Z?
After us? Yeah, G.
Z. Yeah, not Alpha. She's not a baby. I'm not talking to babies. But she's, like just out of college, big girl, first big girl job, all these kind of things. And she's lovely, but she keeps texting me on like Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and about like stuff that like kind of almost exactly the same scenario. Like, you need something from me. And I was like, no, even if you need something from me on Saturday night, you could do one of two things. Schedule that text message to arrive at Monday at 10 a.m. because everybody's phone can do that now. I'm an iPhone user, and we just got that ability. All the Google people have had it for 8 years. Like, everybody can schedule a text message now, or you can send me an email like a professional. But 2 different times, she's absolutely stressed me out with like pressing questions that like everything about me says I am off. I've learned this as I've gotten older. When I'm off, I'm off. Do not bother me. I'm not. I used to feel all the pressure of, this person's going to hate me. Now I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I'm having my time off, and a lot of times that's Saturday, and I may be a few substances in by that point. Like, do not bother me. So yeah, we had a big argument. So now you were the old person in our conversation. Don't call me. And now I'm the old person with her, where I'm just like, do not text. Send me an email like a grandpa on Saturday night if you need something.
Do not text after dark. Yeah, don't you know I'm busy?
Don't you know I'm not busy? Is the whole point.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I stressed about that thing from Saturday evening until Tuesday afternoon when we could finally meet about it. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's wild.
Very funny. So I think everybody's probably familiar with the stream at this point. At Bearded Blevins on Twitch, she's streaming mostly Fortnite. But the 2 new things that have been very exciting for me is the sports show has been very fun because it's very cool for me to see you and your brothers, because there was Yeah, we had always talked just because, one of your brothers is very famous. The other brother, y'all have all kind of done stuff before together. It's just very fun that y'all found something where it's like you're just all hanging out and we get to see essentially what it was like growing up. Like y'all are all grown up now, but it's just like there's no, because even when like you and your brother, y'all do the family Fortnite Fridays and stuff, but like you and I talked for years about like just how you navigate that, right? Like where like you've gotten very popular now, but like he hit the height of how popular a person could be, whatever, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever his peak was, like he hit it. He was at the top of the mountain. And it's just really cool that it seems that y'all have found something where it's like y'all are settled, y'all are consistently doing things together. That's been really cool for me to see.
Thank you, man. It's been super fun. We started with Ben Kurt from the Packers, and that went really well. And then just won't bore you with all the legal stuff, but he was like, "Hey, call me back if you guys need me." But like, get everything set up. And we're like, "Oh, we'll just do it on our own and have some guests." And it's been awesome. Like, it's been cool to see Tyler. Like, bro, it's hard to get Ty excited about something. You know what I mean? Like, dude was streaming today, had almost 20,000 people watching him. He's kind of like getting super popular again. It's wild, kind of cool to see. And he's just golfing now. Like he just ended his stream with 20,000 viewers. Like, I'm going to go golfing. Like, so it's hard to get him excited about anything that's not playing Fortnite and golfing or playing video games off stream. Or
if I'm going to make $1 million on this sports show today, then no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But he loves it so much and he looks forward to it. And it's probably the thing in his life, including his stream. It's probably the thing in his life that he likes the most. And hanging out with Chris and I.
I can tell. I really
so
can.
Fun.
It's been really cool.
Yeah, and even last night, like, dude, he was live for 12 hours. There's a bunch of new Fortnite stuff out, and so he's going crazy. And we're like, we could reschedule it for tomorrow night. That's fine. I'm going live in the morning. He's like, no, let's do it. And so he did a 14-hour stream yesterday, ending with the sports show. But it's been a lot of fun. People are responding way better than I thought. Of course, there's trolls and stuff. But we know ball. Like, dude, you know enough ball to be on a show and start your thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a microphone and you've been watching sports your whole life, like, people are going to be interested in what you have to say. So it's been a lot of fun.
You and I have talked before. It's weird with me when it comes to sports gambling. I'll talk about it every now and then, but it's this weird thing where I don't have enough money to get shut down, but I have gotten good enough to get shut down. So I don't talk about it much publicly. You and I have talked before that I very quietly have essentially become a professional gambler with a bankroll in the 3 digits.
Yep.
But, professional gamblers hit anywhere from 58 to 61% every year. I have hit that every year for the last 7. And
nice.
I started this year off with the worst year that I've ever had. And then for a 4-week span, I was literally half a game from winning $250,000 because I went on a heater over 4 weeks where I got 83% of my picks against the spread correctly in my big, pool of players and money.
Yep.
So like I'm on a heater and it's going very well. But
I love it.
I don't know if I want to talk about it all that much because I like gambling and I don't want them to shut down my account.
Yep. 100%. I'm closing my ears, brother, but good job. Yeah. That's awesome.
Just like all the other listeners, I appreciate that.
Exactly.
But then the thing that I probably engage with the most is this for kids. So you and Miss Ruby, who, spoiler, I never do this, but just because she's connected to you and I talked to her an hour ago, she is making her first appearance on this show in a few weeks because I didn't know she hadn't. I just assumed she had because we've been friends for years and all my friends have been on. And she's like, I haven't been on. I'm like, no way. I don't believe you.
That's awesome. And did she invite herself? Because she does that.
She did. She absolutely did.
Yeah,
she invited me to a conference that I can't afford. And then so it's a conference that it's like a 2-day conference I'll keep it vague. It's a 2-day conference and it costs $500 or $750 for the VIP package. And so I told her that if she wants to come on the show, it's $500 or $750 for the VIP treatment. And I don't think she got the joke.
Oh, that would have been funny. That would have been funny.
So, but y'all are doing a show called Is This for Kids? And most of what I've liked, or most of what I've seen, I have liked. But there's one part about you being gone from this show that I am grateful for.
Uh-oh.
Only one part. I do miss you. I really liked you being on the show. I think we're great together. But there's one part of you being off of this show and having to and someone else having to deal with you that has made me very happy.
Okay, what is it?
Every now and then, I would say about 80%, 85% of our takes, you and I agree on. Maybe the other, I would say 80 we agree on.
Okay.
About 10, I could go either way. Like I'm 50-50. I could be convinced of what I thought. I could be convinced of what you thought. And then about 10% of your takes. So what? Once a month, maybe twice a month, you say something and you go so hard on it. And it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I'm ready.
And it's so funny hearing, like, I had to deal with it for years on this show, and now watching Ruby react to your dumb takes about some movie, it both makes me grateful that someone else has to deal with it and somebody else gets to see you're crazy, but also I'm just like, that's John. We gotta love him. You gotta love him.
Someone else's problem now.
Exactly.
But I have to know, is there a take you have in mind? You're just thinking in general. Every once in a while you see something pop up, you're like, what a moron.
In general, I swipe through because I probably engage with your show how most people engage with my show, mostly through the clips, which is annoying. Like the thing that most people do that annoys me is what I do to your show, and I apologize.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens. When people do that. But like every now and then you'll be talking about a movie, and I'm just like, no, you're wrong. You're so wrong. And it drives me nuts when other people are contrarian on purpose. And I don't think you're being contrarian on purpose. I think you 100% believe what you're saying. You just
100%.
happen to be wrong.
Yeah,
so.
100%. I reserve that right for sure. I do have to be a little bit contrarian with Ruby because Ruby will, I joke with her about this all the time on the show. Like she just, if it's not porn, she's fine with it for her kids. And I'm like, this show is supposed to be helpful for parents, and you let your 8-year-old watch everything you let your 15-year-old watch, and the only time she ever gets mad is she's like, this was Game of Thrones bad. And even then she's like, which I personally thought was great. Like, it's so funny. And so I have to be the one who's like, don't let your kids watch everything. And so maybe sometimes those are those takes, but we're having fun with it.
It is funny. You bringing that up does bring some things up where it's just like a thought that I has had is like, just wait till John's kids get older, because there is this weird thing of like, if I'm watching something with my older child and the other child comes in, I'm not going to be like, no, you can't hang out with us because I'm not a junior high student, So it is this kind of weird thing. And like, I think, she's a little bit further on in parenting than
both
maybe
of us.
me too.
I think her oldest is 16.
Yeah. Okay. So she's 5 years ahead of me, and I'm just how old's your oldest now?
9, turning 10 in a couple months.
Yeah, only 2 years ahead of you. So, which is crazy because you're so old.
I am 37. I'm 36. I'm 36. I'm not that old.
You're not 36.
I'm 36. Jody's 37.
Oh, wow, I forgot that she's a year older, just like my wife.
Yeah,
is a year older.
Jody's a cougar.
Yeah,
So how old did you think I was? 40?
I thought you were 37. I thought you were 2 years older than me, but it must be one of those things where you're 2 years older than me some parts of the year, and only like right now I'm 35, you're 36.
Wait,
but your birthday happens.
Am I 37? Am I 37? How old am I? Born September 20th, 1987.
John Bearded.
I'm 37.
Dude, I told you.
Oh my God.
Why do I know? See, this is one of your dumb takes that you were 100% sure about. You weren't making it
I'm
up,
37.
but you're wrong.
I'm having a midlife crisis. Oh, that's bad. I really didn't know. Jody's 38. Jody's almost 40. Okay. I gotta slow down.
I haven't talked to you in years, and I still know you better than you know yourself.
I know. That's unbelievable. Oh my goodness. But you are absolutely right. So and Jody and I our kids just almost never watch TV or do anything with media, which we love so far, but we're not anti it. It's just what they like. We just started playing college football in Madden, me and my boys. And so of course, awesome. I'm not going to let my 9-year-old play, but not my 8-year-old. Right. So so my 8-year-old gets to play video games a year earlier than the 9-year-old did. So I totally get it. It's going to just escalate from there as it goes on.
It's very fun. But anyway, I like the show. Your live show, you're streaming on Twitch, we all know. But you're also you're multi-streaming now, right? That became legal over the last couple of years. You're
I'm on TikTok and YouTube too, and it's nowhere near as engaging as my Twitch community is. But I'll get 100 to 500 people on YouTube and about 4,000 to 5,000 unique people on TikTok. So it's helpful and it's good. TikTok might shut down though. I'm seeing a lot more posts about that coming up here before the new year.
I kind of quit it. I'm
Did
not
you really?
on it anymore. It was I'm still on it, and Sarah still posts our content on it, but it's I went back to scrolling on Instagram because
Gotcha.
It was just such a time suck. Like the 2-year peak COVID time, TikTok owned my life, and then I was like, we have to break up. So,
it's over. It's over. You know what's funny, buddy? I'm obviously in front of a screen more than humans should be, and maybe you are too because you have to do so much editing and all that stuff. But I actually have found myself now on scrolling way less, because I just want to not be connected to anything when I'm not, except for Twitter. except for Twitter, brother.
Really?
I can't.
That's
I could
funny.
never. I don't think I could ever quit X. I don't think I ever could.
I
don't think I could. Like nothing like Maction on a Wednesday night pulling Twitter up. You know what I mean? And just having fun watching football. I love it.
It is very fun. So, and then is this for kids? I know you can follow it on Instagram because that's where I mostly interact with it, but it's primarily on YouTube and podcasts. Yeah.
Yep, that's correct. Isthisforkids.com. It has all the stuff there. Yep. Appreciate you, bud.
I don't think we fully explained what that was, but you alluded to it. You're reviewing TV shows and movies, and essentially like the old guide that we used, like that my parents read when it was in the newspaper of like, here's the new movies coming out. Here's where you can take your kids or not. And y'all are doing that in a more fun fashion and in a way that nobody gets newspapers anymore. So
exactly. And it's a podcast for parents about media to help them discern what they should and shouldn't let their kids delve into. So pretty fun. It's been going well so far.
It's very, very good. Well, good. Okay, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas. I told the viewers.
I forgot to tell you. Wait, I forgot to tell you. Merry Christmas too. We're having another baby.
Wait, what?
Yeah, dude. We're due in March. Not you and me, but me and Jody.
Which one of us is pregnant? We both look it.
Yes, Jody is. So that'll be awesome. So we have 3 now and 4 on the way happening in March. So my March Madness party, unfortunately,
you have 4 on the way in March.
Well, we'll have 3 now, and then we'll have 4 in March.
You're going to have more. 7
I did not make that better. 4 total here by March. But my March Madness party is going to be canceled this year because of that. Right smack dab in the middle, man. I told Jody, I was like, this is crazy. You're making me cancel this party.
Well, I was going to say, well, you did it, and then I almost stopped myself, but I couldn't think of anything else. You did it.
It's my fault. It's my fault, for sure. 100%. Anyway, Merry Christmas to you too, dude.
Yeah, you too. So we're celebrating a newborn baby in multiple different ways.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
That's exciting. I think this is a great time to say this as well. I have not said this publicly because my extended family is a lot more private than I am because I'm publicly on people's screens every single day. But they finally started posting about it about a month after it happened. But on my side of the family, I am an uncle for the first time. My middle sister just had the first grandchild on my side of the family that isn't mine.
Let's go, dude. Congratulations. Are you going to be a fun uncle?
I am a funkle, yes.
You're a funkle. Okay, good. I thought so.
Yeah, I have funkle energy for sure. I've been a funkle for a long time mentally, even before it physically happened.
Sure. I love that. I enjoy being an uncle. I'm an uncle with Chris has a baby 1 year old with Julia, and that's been really fun. But I get better as they get older. You know what I mean? Like when they're like 1, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're cute. I'll hold you for a minute. I'll help, but then go away. Like, but when they get 4, 5, 6, I can throw a football around, dude. I'm in. I'll be the fun uncle then.
Yeah, Jody just heard you from upstairs, and she's rolling her eyes because she knows that that's true with your own children as well. And she's like, yeah, unfortunately, that's the truth.
Dude, I'll snuggle them and rock them. Like, I take care of my kids like crazy, but yeah, I don't know what to do with them for the first few years, you know?
Yeah. I cannot feed you out of my body. Please go see your mother.
I've got nipples. Can you milk me, Greg?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So good to have you back, Jonathan.
Oh, it's so good.
So Christmas time. One thing that you and I did that I think was probably one of our favorite things that we've done is on a Thanksgiving episode that you were on, we talked about our favorite Thanksgiving foods. So we're going to do a couple of Thanksgiving things. Everybody's listening to this over Christmas break or maybe after Christmas. We're in the Christmas season. So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to talk Christmas foods. We're going to talk maybe some Christmas movies. And then we're going to do a Christmas draft because I also enjoy drafting things with you because of both of our loves for the faith and sports. So favorite Christmas traditions. I told you that I'm going on a cruise for the first time, so that can't be a tradition because we're literally doing it for the first time. But then we're gathering as a family at my parents' house for Christmas. So, we some traditions. What are some of your favorites?
Like right now, right? Like the traditions that we currently are doing, not the ones I did when I was a kid?
Either one. I thought you were asking like in the future. I'm like, no, you can't do aspirational.
No. So I'll share what Jody and I do now because we're both really proud of it and really we're intentional about it. A lot of people, as you know, man, families want to do a lot of different things, and a lot of people see everyone at Christmas time, and we really wanted it to be a special thing for just our immediate family as much as possible for at least 24-ish hours. So my parents did a great job of that with us growing up. Like we almost never visited any family on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. It was just a really cool, beautiful time for the family. So For us on Christmas Eve, although NFL has kind of ruined this now because there's football games on, so we try to go to mass.
It has not ruined anything.
Well, Jody would
only
disagree.
Enhanced the Lord's blessing.
I agree. I'm glad there's football, but it has determined when we go to mass. But because the Lions have played on Christmas Eve the last few years, but we'll go to mass usually at 3 p.m. as a family on Christmas Eve. We'll come home. I'll have already gotten.
Oh, cool! A mass that doesn't count. Awesome.
Exactly. Well, it counts in our diocese because we have. I'm not going to say it, but let's just say there are some things I like about Cardinal Soup, bitch, and that's one of them.
What I'm going to say is, you think it counts, it still doesn't.
Hey, that's his fault, not mine. That's on his soul, brother. So we go to 3. Do we go to Sunday? No, we don't go Sunday morning. So it's Christmas morning. So we go Christmas Eve mass, and then we come home, and I've already gotten all the ingredients for homemade pizza. And my kids used to not like pizza, and so that was kind of an awkward part of the tradition. But we're like, someday they will, and now they do. And so we'll homemade pizza. Each of us gets our own. We throw it in the oven. And then we'll put our Christmas jammies on, take a family picture, and then eat the pizza and watch a movie. And so we do that every single Christmas Eve. And then Jody and I do our gift exchange. Usually we just get each other one thing, but like not a big thing, but like $150 limit. And we'll exchange ours, just her and I. And then her and I will watch a movie and then go to sleep. Next morning, open presents and just relax all day long until like 3 or 4 p.m. And then we'll go to my parents' house, have a really nice dinner. Open presents there, and then usually crash there and then come home the next morning. So that is like what we've done the last, 7, 8, 9 years, and it has been awesome. And then we'll go see her family like the week either before or after that. But that's our Christmas Eve, Christmas tradition that I love the most.
That's awesome. That's really fun.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton, which is one of the reasons that I asked, because typically we do the family thing of like we rotate whose family that we're with, of like my parents, her parents, my parents, her parents. But we're at this interesting crossroads where my family, because of my age, and I have 3 children, like we are going to become the epicenter of where family gatherings are coming. The plan was for it to be this Christmas, but I don't know how much you've heard of my life in the last 9 months, but the listeners know my house has been on the market for 9 months. We were supposed to sell before 9 months ago. We were supposed to be in our nice new house and host everybody, and we'd be able to host everybody comfortably. We can't do that here. So now we're doing this hybrid thing where like we're going to my parents for like the days before Christmas, but we actually will be home for Christmas. Not only in my dreams, but we will actually be home for Christmas for the first time ever.
Wow.
Because we've always been either at my parents' or her parents', and like we're like no, we're coming home. We want to be home for Christmas. So this is the beginning. Yeah, I said no new traditions, but I'm breaking my own rule. I can do what I want. You can't stop me.
It's your show. Dang it.
But I am really excited for like to be home for Christmas. And I don't know how it's going to go. I don't even know if I'm going to like it, because like the biggest tradition that I've ever been a part of, and it has dwindled over the last few years, is like we used to do Christmas meant all extended family. That's what it's always like, almost the opposite of what you're talking about and what y'all do now and what you did as a kid. Christmas meant we go to mass, we eat breakfast, and then we go to whoever's, whichever millionaire on either side of the family has a house that can hold 60 people, because that's how many we had on either side of each family.
Sure.
I am interested to see how it goes, right? Because I feel like part of me is going to be like, well, I miss having everybody all together, but we would have just been together, so maybe I won't feel that way. But at the same time, it's like we get to create new traditions. We're going to be at our home parish for Christmas, which we've only been, I think, once, maybe. Yep. My kids are going to serve. Like altar serve. My middle daughter's going to sing in the choir. Like the things, we get to do a lot of things that we've never done before. So in a weird way, this is like the least traditional Christmas we've had because it's the most simple.
Yeah. I love that though, dude. I think you're going to love it. I think it's, I don't know, man. Like for me growing up, maybe you won't love it because it'll be so different, but there's just something so like weirdly, coolly intimate about spending like the biggest day, one of the biggest days for us, Christmas and Easter as Catholics, with the people that you absolutely love the most. And so I'm pumped, man. I hope you love it.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, we're going to talk about foods, but before we talk about Christmas foods, I want to update you on something that I have shared with the audience a couple of times, but I've not talked with you about. And I am going to give you a caveat so that if you're going to break my heart, you could just know that you're breaking my heart, and I'm fine with that. I do want your honest answer, your honest answer, your honest reaction.
I'll give you my honest answer.
But one thing I have always admired about you is your cooking ability. It's one of those things that, like, I feel like being able to grill and to cook well is a really cool, manly thing. And I've never had that in my life because I'm not good at it. It wasn't something I aspired towards. I think probably because I sucked at it. So, like, it was kind of that, like, thing that I have in my head is like, if you only do what you're good at, you look like you're good at everything. So why do something that you're bad at? Like that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I tried and failed. But the big update that I've shared with the listeners over the last, 4 or 5 months, is that I bought an air fryer and it changed my life. Like, I think it's the biggest conversion I've had other than my conversion to faith ever. Because, like, now I'm cooking twice a week and I'm all the foods that you cook on your grill, I am cooking in my air fryer. Maybe not all, but most. So, like, chicken wings, steak, chicken tenders, pork tenderloin, like, pork steaks, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cooking pretty fancy things that I've seen you cook either on your stream or, like, when I've been at your house, like, or your posted pictures of, like, I'm a man and I made this meat, like, I am feeling that feeling with the air fryer. But you are manlier than I am still because you do it on the grill. And there's been this mixed reaction. Most people are very happy for me, but I've had a few men in my life where I reveal this to them and they're like, you're a woman. And I'm like, okay.
So, not that.
I want your honest reaction to, have you cooked on an air fryer, first of all? And what do you think about my journey with the air fryer?
So first of all, I'm really proud of you because I think that people should do things that they're afraid to do and that they want to do. And so the fact that you're cooking is awesome. I think that you should get nothing but high fives for that. I got Jody an Instant Pot like 5 years ago and as a Christmas gift because she said, it was a birthday gift actually. She said a month earlier than that, I really want to start making more meals for the kids. And I feel like I don't know how to cook. You do all the cooking. And so I feel like I'm a bad mom. And I was like, you're a great mom. So I was like, what a good husband I am. I'll get her an Instant Pot. Those things are really cool. She can cook a lot of stuff. She was so offended. She's like, how dare you get this for me? I'm like,
right.
I was listening.
Those are dangerous gifts. Like one year I got my wife a gym membership and I'm like, I don't think it went the way I planned.
Definitely not.
I meant it as a, hey, we could go together and this will be a fun thing for us to do together. And I think she didn't take it that way.
Yep. Nope, I would not either, but I hear what you were trying to be a good husband. I get it. And so anyway, I think it's cool that you're doing it. Jody never used the Instant Pot. I sometimes do. We have not had an air fryer. We got our first air fryer 6 months ago. Weirdly enough, somebody from my chat found out I didn't have one, sent us one. I was like, isn't it just an oven except faster? And if so, like, I get the appeal, but whatever. It's pretty incredible. And then Ty and I got sponsored by Shark Ninja, and I had a Ninja Crispy, and that's even cooler than an air fryer. Like, does everything an air fryer can do, but like quicker. And anyway, it's very cool. So I am pro air fryer. I will say
you have used it.
I use it quite.
Used it.
I use it.
Okay.
I use the air fryer probably at least 2 or 3 times a week, but I don't make protein in it.
That was kind of my assumption because you're so good at doing it on the grill. For me, the big thing is I'm just so inconsistent on the grill. And maybe it's I haven't had a good enough grill, but like the grill one day, the steak for a perfect medium rare steak would take 8 minutes. And the next day I'd cook it for 8 minutes and it was still mooing. And then the next day I would cook it for 8 minutes and it was burnt into multiple pieces. And so the inconsistency was what was killing me. Where the air fryer, it's like if I perfect a recipe, it's literally the same thing every time.
Yep.
And maybe I fail the first time I make pork tenderloin or this chicken tenders or whatever, but the next time I make it, I tweak it, and if it's perfect, I've literally made it 8 other times because it was perfect. So
yep, I love that. Well, let me clarify. Like, I shouldn't say all protein because I think chicken tenders, even like chicken breasts, like I think that's mostly fine. Like, there's not a ton of fat and all of the stuff that you want on a cast iron skillet. Because I actually am kind of anti-grill, brother. I like smoky meat quite a bit. I love a griddle because that's even heat. But like a grill, like a Weber gas grill, give me a cast iron over that all day long because the flames.
So your smoker that's when I see you with like a big rack of ribs or a big piece of meat.
That's my smoker.
That's the smoker, okay.
Which I love to death. But like, bro, a steak, like a steak is way better on a cast iron on your stove or on a griddle. What do they call it? Blackstone's a really famous one. Weber has one now. Those are awesome. Gas grills. I don't think there's anything that's better on a gas grill anymore than what you can do on a smoker, a cast iron, a griddle, or an air fryer. So, dude, chicken wings are way better.
It's unbelievable.
I like to smoke them and then put them on the air fryer. Oh, they're so good.
Nice.
Fries, any
every
potato.
every Sunday for football, like I'm making wings, and we've got a few different sauces that we use. Like we have the original Frank's Red Hot, like the specific one for buffalo wings.
Yep.
We have we're using sauces like Buffalo Wild Wings sell sauces. We have their Asian Zing. We have their Parmesan garlic. Like we've made our own a couple times. It's awesome. Now I'm hungry.
You should be proud of yourself, dude. Literally, the only thing someone would ever criticize you for is that like fat is where the flavor is, and so when you air fry a steak, there's fat there that you're not like flavor that drips that you're just not using that you could use to make a really good sauce and those kind of things. But dude, if you're finding recipes, you're crushing it. You just pour it out and do something with it
after. Yeah,
I think that's cool. I think you should be proud of yourself, my friend.
Good. This is healing because another very manly man in my life. Essentially, I told him like. I didn't give him a caveat. He's the reason I give a caveat now. I told him, and he was like, "You need to leave." I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh. I would probably make a comment if you're like, "Hey, I have these ribeyes in the air fryer." I'd probably be like, "Come on, buddy." But like, no, dude, I think it's awesome. You're cooking, you're learning,
I've done it.
And now that you're doing it, though, I think you should venture into the cast iron world or the griddle. Really, the griddle is the best because the heat's the same everywhere, and you could do everything on there. I think you'll love it because man, you combine the air fryer with the griddle. You're a pro, dude. Now you're teaching everyone else.
Right? Yeah. Maybe I will. Maybe I will expand. But it's just been very fun. So that's my little introduction into Christmas foods because you had some very hot takes about Thanksgiving foods. What is some of your we don't have to rank them. This isn't our draft. We're doing our draft later.
Okay.
But just what are some of your staples on Christmas Day? Because I feel my assumption is that you have some things that are a little different than most people because of your feelings about Thanksgiving. Maybe I'm wrong.
Do you think? I mean. So, man, my Christmas meal in a perfect world is a lot like my Thanksgiving meal. So give me prime rib or ribeye or filet, like depending on the mood, with a nice sauce. Like filet is the only steak that needs sauce because there's not enough fat in it, and so you can make a nice sauce, whatever kind of sauce you want, except for A1. Give me some broccoli cheddar soup on Christmas.
Yum. That's random, but I like it.
Yeah, some broccoli cheddar soup, maybe some French onion, but like the kids don't usually like that stuff. So that would just be for like Jody and I, but that can get fun with that, right? With a little nice puff pastry on the top of that thing. Buddy. And heck yeah.
Dude, I got to go eat. We got to be done.
I'm hungry too, bro. I'm hungry too. So mashed potatoes, I think are always a must. You have to do that. Man, what else? I mean, veggie. I'm not like roasted carrots. I probably do.
Okay,
because I want to have a veggie, and then it's all about.
That's something you've never said before.
I know.
Have a veggie. I'm proud of you.
I have to. Hey, no one who's listening can't see this, but hey, we're doing okay here, brother. We're doing okay here. Good. So I have to have some veggies. That's about it for me, bro. Then I'm starting to talk bourbon. Like that's all I need for food for Christmas. Now bring some bourbon on.
I have something very sad. It's another ironic thing. Our phones know that like you and I texted, so Instagram knows that you and I texted the other day. So today, as I was driving home, I gave a talk in Victoria at a young adult thing last night, and I was driving back today, and I was texting you like, hey, here's some ideas for the show. And then I got on Instagram while I was going 82 miles an hour on the highway because you got to love Texas. There was nobody else out there. It was awesome. And the first story that I see is Jessica Blevins, your sister-in-law, and she made a post. So I don't feel bad for talking about it because she did a post.
She posted it.
She's having some issues with some foods that she's eating. Her 2 trigger foods are my 2 trigger foods. I just thought that was very funny because it's not funny that she has it. It's just an ironic thing because it's not fun for me. I haven't been able to eat tomatoes. Most of mine don't like. I found out that was one of my trigger foods whenever I was in college. And John, I have some very sad news for you. Over the last 2 years or so, I have developed or realized that I have an allergy to corn, which means the hundreds of dollars worth of bourbon that I have in my house, I cannot drink without becoming sick in about an hour.
No.
Yeah. So
when actual you said corn too, so you can't have corn chowder either?
No corn. So I can't eat it, can't drink it, can't lick it, can't smell it. I mean, I'm sure I could smell it. I don't know, but it's rough, dude. So Mexican food with corn tortillas, gone. I have to do flour and everything. It's tough. It's been tough. So
and tomatoes, you can't do pizza, or is that fine because it's not?
I do a white sauce or oil and vinegar, or every now and then I can do barbecue, even though the main ingredient's tomato, but it is less concentrated. So I have my ranking of
sure,
white sauce, vinegar and oil, then barbecue or nothing. I can't do the tomato sauce.
Wow.
So yeah,
That is your cross, brother.
it is my cross. So I'm happy for you this Christmas, but I essentially stopped drinking because I don't like the other alcohols. So.
Hey, that's healthy though. That's healthy stuff right there. Jess is allergic to sulfites now, so most of the wine is no longer.
It's I think I'm probably there too. I haven't confirmed done enough tests because I'm not getting. It's like a $3,000 test, and I don't have $3,000 sitting around. But I've done my own test. I am allergic to corn as an allergy, breathing it in. So I was like, that was the first trigger of maybe I shouldn't put it in my stomach, And then I started testing it. I noticed it with the alcohol. I noticed it I would go to Mexican restaurants and just eat the chips and salsa, and I start feeling sick immediately.
Wow.
I've learned how to live. Now I just order queso and flour tortillas as my chips and salsa,
Sure.
It's fine. So, you learn to adapt at Mexican restaurants.
That's right. That's right.
If that's the hardest thing I have to deal with this year, then, well, it's not. It's not selling this house. But, second hardest thing I have to deal with this year. Yeah, I think for us, we kind of do the staples. It's we're doing honey baked ham, and we mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, casserole with the crumbles on top. We're doing green bean casserole. Those are kind of our staples. So pretty similar to our Thanksgiving as well. But one thing that we also do, because my wife is Mexican and my kids are half, is we do the tamales. That's a big tradition.
That's cool.
Every year, and those have a little corn in them too. But I'll probably be eating them anyway because what do I care? So over the break. So that's probably our only strange one, just because that's not what we grew up with, but it is a huge part of the Hispanic tradition, Mexican tradition, to have tamales. So.
Yeah, you brought up Ruby earlier. She, her husband is Mexican, and they do that as well. And she's like, "I'll bring tamales if you want in January when we record." I'm like, "Please, that sounds great."
It's the best. It's really the best. Okay, two last things. We're gonna do just a couple of movies. I only really have two.
Okay.
One that's a staple for everybody, and one that's not a staple for everybody. That is just my favorite, and I can't wait to watch it with my kids. So, the number one, I did Barstool Sports, right? Barstool, because they do sport, all these sports shows and stuff. But they had a Christmas movie ranking. It was one of those brackets where you just play it along with yourself. It's who wins or whatever. Yeah. And so many of the staple Christmas movies I just haven't seen, Miracle on 34th Street, A Wonderful Life,
those are two great bangers, by 10
just never seen them, and I'm not going to. They look so boring.
Come on, hey! Miracle on 34th Street in the 10 years ago has a new colored version. You should check it out.
I don't think you could say that.
In color version. In color version. And it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'll be watching other things. So, but, and other things I hate Elf. I love every other Will Ferrell movie. Hate Elf. It's just
interesting.
It's just a travesty. But the one that I love, when it came down to my top two on this bracket of 16 on Barstool today, number one on one bracket was Home Alone, which I think is probably pretty high on most people's list. That's not the weird one. That's kind of I'm walking in step with everybody else. But my other one, I think it was the 12th or 13th seed out of 16, is my favorite Christmas movie. It won my bracket, and it might not be the best made movie, but it came out when I was a kid. I watched it every year straight for 15 years. I'm going to watch it with my kids for the first time this year. Jingle All the Way is my favorite Christmas movie.
Arnold
Schwarzenegger, Sinbad. Just a lovely, lovely, lovely movie. And what's very funny is I told the listeners 2 weeks ago, that my daughter, big dad thing is that my daughter was in the Nutcracker this year. Big production, very, very cool. Made it the first year she was eligible, blah, blah, blah. But one of the Nutcracker songs is I was I know it's in every Christmas promotional thing, the K Jewelers, they play Nutcracker music or whatever. But it's it is absolutely a movie from my childhood, and I couldn't think of it. And it's from Jingle All the Way, and I cannot wait to watch it with them and look over at my middle daughter whenever it comes on. Yeah!
I love it. I love it. I saw that movie, by the way, 3 years ago with Jody. I made her watch it with me when the kids went to bed after they watched their movie. I was like, come on, this is a classic. It
just
holds
the two
up.
of you?
Yeah.
You didn't watch it with the kids? That's
no,
so
we watched
funny.
another one. They were so young. This was 2-3 years ago. So they were watching the Mariah Carey.
It's such a childish movie, and the fact that two adults watched it is very, very funny.
And I don't think she had, and she fell asleep towards the end. But dude, I was in heaven. I was like, this movie holds up. It is so good.
The best. It's just the best. All right, what are a couple of yours? Top 2 or 3?
Well, so I do like Elf. I wouldn't put it in my top 3, but I do like Elf, and we are going to watch that. We're going to watch that with the kids this year for the first time. I don't know what it is about it, but bro, honestly, why I think I like it is because I've always felt like Will Ferrell in that movie when it comes to Christmas. Like I've always had this ridiculously annoying, loud excitement for Christmas, and so that's probably why I like it. But it's not in my top 3. Santa Claus for me is number 1. Tim Allen,
very good.
Tim Allen.
I need to rewatch it. It's been a while. I need to rewatch it.
There's something when I was a kid. There's something so peaceful. I just will never forget. So peaceful about the hot cocoa that the elves were drinking and talking to Tim Allen. There's just something about it where I was like, that is beautiful, and that's what Christmas is about. So I'm gonna put that one at number 1. I do like Miracle on 34th Street, but man, I don't know if I'd put that on my top 3 right now. Here's a dumb hot take that I know is wrong, but I agree with. Home Alone 3 is my favorite Home Alone.
I don't think. Which one is that one?
So it's the one. It came out maybe 5 or 10 years after Home Alone 2. No Macaulay Culkin, big famous actors in it. There's a race car that he uses. There's a parrot that talks. That's really funny. And for some reason, just my age when I saw it, I liked it way better than 1 and 2. And every time I say that on stream, I get roasted by hundreds and hundreds of people, and they tell me I'm wrong.
Is that the one with our next president?
Yeah. No.
There's that 2.
That's 2.
Scarlett Johansson's in this. I'm watching.
She's the sister. She's the sister in it. Dude, it's so good.
I don't recognize anybody else.
Come on, yeah you do.
I'm looking at the IMDb. Oh, Neil Flynn, I know, but he's like really low in the cast.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to trust your hot take. I will watch it this Christmas break.
I like it. It's like, I don't know. I like it. I think that's what Home Alone should have been. It's a little more appropriate than Home Alone 1 and 2, but people love Macaulay Culkin, whatever. Let's see. Last one. Jingle All the Way's up there for me, dude. It really is. That's why I made Jody watch it with me that year.
It's the best. You're the best. I appreciate you.
How about this, dude? Here's one more. 8 Crazy Nights.
Also a very good one.
Adam Sandler. Dude, that's a technical foul. It's so good. Those are mine.
My wife and I watched that one after the kids went to sleep last year. So that was our.
Wait, I have one more. I have a new one, and it's in my top 5. The best Christmas pageant ever is unbelievable, and I wept when I watched it in the theater alone.
Wait. Say it again. I wasn't listening because you made me think of another one. I didn't hear anything you said.
Okay, the best Christmas pageant ever is based on a book from the 70s. It's been in it was supposed to be in theaters for a week. It's doing so well. It's been in theaters for a month.
It's like out now.
Yes, it's directed by the same guy who does Chosen, and it is, dude. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable, pure, beautiful, funny.
Pete Holmes? You lost me at producer of Chosen, but you gained me back when I saw Pete Holmes.
I got you, brother. I'm alone in this theater on a random Tuesday night, getting ready to watch it for Is This for Kids, weeping. It is so good, and not like sad weeping, just like beautiful. It was just such a good film. Can't wait to watch. The kids just read the book. We're gonna watch it with them coming up here in a few weeks.
You made me think of one. I'm gonna plug my little show that nobody listens to. That's essentially my Is This for Kids, but it's not. Mine's essentially Is This for You? Are you going to like this as an adult?
I love it.
So last year, after Christmas, because it was over Christmas break, I watched Spirited, the Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds musical. You said musical. And I was like, I think it might be number 2. It is such a good movie. It is not for kids. Do not watch it with your kids. You don't need to do an episode about it. It's fine. But
you know what? We did an episode about it, and Ruby said it was mostly fine for kids. So now you see what I have to deal with here.
No. She's insane. I changed everything I said earlier. She's an insane person.
Thank you.
I don't believe you have to deal with her.
Thank you. But it is such a good movie. I thought it was great too.
It's incredibly inappropriate.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing that we are doing is you and I are going to do a draft. I think we're going to go about 5 picks each.
Okay.
But once I realize the parameters that I put on this, we might not be able to get to 5 each. We might run out of things.
Because we're gonna take each other's, or what?
I think so. Yeah. There's only so many characters. So what we're doing.
Okay.
I realized that the parameters that I put on this took out most of the characters, and I didn't realize I was doing that when I did it. But I do think I still agree with the parameters. It just might mean we have less picks.
Okay.
So what we are doing is we are just doing a regular draft. You and I have done drafts before where we drafted biblical characters as football teams, or we draft saints as a basketball team. We're just drafting best characters in the Christmas story. Okay. And this is, anything having to do with the Christmas story. Because,
wait, the Christmas story, not Ralphie, not that movie.
No. Like the story of Jesus becoming a baby.
Okay.
And parameters being, you cannot pick a heavenly being or a member of the Holy Family. So no God, no Jesus, no angels. Like those, and that takes away 50% of the cast. And
Yes, it does.
That. And no Mary and Joseph, because if I picked Jesus on my team and I win and you get consolation with Mary, like it'd be no fun. So
Sure.
we're gonna put this out. We're gonna let people vote, see who has the better list. So,
and hold on. So this is the biblical Christmas story.
The biblical Christmas story. So
we can't use the little drummer boy.
You can if you would like. I will allow anybody involved in the story of Christmas. I won't pick him, but you are welcome to, because everyone hates him. You can pick him if you'd like. But I'm ready to go. But I'm a lovely. Do you understand the parameters? No,
I do.
It's just very funny because most of the characters are the Father, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, the angel Gabriel, and the choir of angels singing. Like that's most of the story. But we're going to try this anyway. We've put parameters on ourselves to make things more difficult. I am giving you the first pick, Jonathan.
You're giving me the first pick.
I am. It's like in fantasy football. It's not really the place you want to be.
Oh, gosh.
I'm acting like I'm being generous.
You know what, dude? You know who I'm gonna take him first, and I don't give a rip. Give me the innkeeper.
Oh, he was number 3 on my list.
Give me the innkeeper. He's number 1 for me. Let's go. I have to write this down.
Why do you like the he gets a bad rap? Why do you like the innkeeper?
Yeah, he gets a bad rap, but he was just doing his job. You know what I mean? He was just doing his job. He what's he supposed to do? Kick someone else out? I don't know. Give me the innkeeper at number 1.
I really like the pick. I thought it was going to be my surprise pick as my second pick, because I figured you would pick one of my top 2 as one of your top, your top one. But I wrote guy who gave them barn. That was my because he didn't just do his job. He went above and beyond. He gets a bad rap. Oh, you turned Jesus away? Just like everybody turns Jesus away in their hearts in the modern day? No! He gave them a barn when nobody else did. That's not his job. It's not. If I go to Best Western, which I was at last night, and they were full, it's not his job to book me at La Quinta. He says, "Go away."
Yeah, he gave them the absolute best thing that he could give them.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
I love that pick, and I'm a little mad that you took it, because it was going to be one of my surprise ones. Okay,
let's go.
I'm going to break the rules a little bit, but again, you have no recourse to this. I am taking. Not all 3 magi. I am taking 2, though. The 2 that gave gold and frankincense. The guy who took myrrh, you could take. I'm not taking him. Screw that guy. Who gives a baby a death potion? I am taking the 2 magi that gave gold and frankincense as my first pick.
Oh man, I'm not touching the guy with myrrh.
You're smart.
I'll take the shepherds.
Okay, that was my number 2. So. Yeah. We're thinking similarly because there's only so many people to pick from. But I very much like that. My second one, I am going to go Simeon. Okay. So this is the guy who they presented the baby Jesus in Luke chapter 2 to when they were presenting him to the temple. He was the man who was waiting for the Messiah. So he's like a symbol for all of the Old Testament figures, waiting for the Messiah. And the Lord gave him the gift to see the Messiah before he died. So he saw a baby and then walked off into a field and died. Just wonderful, wonderful character. I'm very happy for him. It gets tough.
I think there's only one other answer.
I have some cheating ones.
I'll go with Anna.
Okay, that was my next one.
Okay, yeah, I'll take Anna because I don't know who else. I don't know if I'll be able to come up with another one. So I'll say Anna. At the temple, she never left. I mean, she's pretty epic, and spoke well of Jesus. So I'm gonna say Anna, but that's about all I know about her.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna read this because I think this is probably part of the story because it is a few days after Christmas Day, but it's still part of the Christmas story. It's still part of the birth of Jesus. So now I'm just gonna read it. Luke chapter 2, verse 25. Now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. This man was righteous and devout, awaiting the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. It had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen the Messiah of the Lord. He came in the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child, Jesus, to perform the custom of the law in regard to him, he took the baby in his arms and blessed God, saying, "Now, Master, you may let your servant go in peace, according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in the sight of all the peoples, a light for revelation to the Gentiles and glory for your people Israel." Like, just, this is Christmas, man. Like, this is the response. This is our response to Christmas. This is our response to the baby Jesus being born. It goes on a little bit more, but I'll do the Anna part now. There was also a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel. That's what you should name your new baby.
Phanuel.
With a PH, because they're fat, not FAT. Of the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in years, like you and your wife, having lived 7 years with her husband after her marriage, and then as a widow until she was 84. That's tough, man. She got married for 7 years and then was by herself until she was 84. She never left the temple, but worshiped night and day with fasting and prayer. And coming forward at that very time, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were awaiting the redemption of Jerusalem. So Simeon was old and got to see Jesus. Is like, I'm good. I'm going to go die now. And Anna was like one of the first evangelists. She heard about it and went to go share it. Very, very good.
I love it.
I think there's only two other options, and I'm going to list the options.
Okay.
And whose turn is it? I think it's my turn. Correct?
Yeah. Your turn.
Wait. I got the two magi. You got the shepherds. You got the barn guy. I got Simeon. You got Anna. So it's my turn, and by default, you're going to get the last one. So you're going to have one extra person. So that might help you out a little bit. But I think the two options are John the Baptist, not directly involved with the story, but he is part of our readings in the Christmas and Advent season of preparing the way for Jesus. That's not my pick because, one, I think it's a little looser. And also, I think, talk about a guy who I think needs redemption. There are two people that I think needed redemption from our little draft here. That's why we did this, for the two people who needed redemption. One was the innkeeper. I think he needs some, we need to give him his flowers, as the children say. But I think Isaiah, I think nobody won more when Christmas happened than Isaiah. Because about 1,000 years before Jesus, he's writing all these things that came true 1,000 years later.
Yep.
No one is more vindicated than Isaiah. Like for things when he wrote in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government shall be on his shoulders. His name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." No one has a longer legacy than God, more than Isaiah and maybe Moses. Good for Isaiah. Just an absolute king, all because of Christmas. Good for him.
60% of the world is wrong about every single NBA and NFL game, and he got something right 1,000 years. It's incredible.
That's like me saying right now that, the Western Mars Rockets will win the NBA championship in the year of our Lord 3052. And I put down €1, and in 1,000 years, that's worth like 80 billion Bitcoin. And
exactly.
We're all good. We're all good.
Exactly, my friend. I'm surprised you left Herod out, to be honest, though.
He doesn't need redemption.
He was good at building stuff. He was a good architect.
Yeah, and Hitler made some advancements in science. That doesn't mean I want to pick him on my team.
we don't like Herod. Not at all. Not good at all.
I think I've learned even more about Herod this Christmas season that made me hate him more. So no, not on my team.
Exactly.
Him and the Myrrh guy could go hang out for all I care.
Exactly.
Who brings a death thing to a baby's birthday party?
It's weird. It's weird.
It's very weird. Jonathan, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I'm so glad that you were back.
Dude, thanks for inviting me. I kind of thought that one day you would invite me to come back as a guest, and I'm so glad you did. What a great time to do it. I appreciate you. I miss you, buddy.
I miss you too. All right, guys. Merry Christmas from me, from Jonathan, my family, his family, from all of us here at Forte Catholic. Love you. I'll be back next week. Jonathan will be back eventually. See ya!
Never
Thank you so much for watching and listening to today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. Go check out John and all the projects that he is working on as well. Follow us on socials, follow him on socials, and have a continued very Merry Christmas. We're just now starting this Christmas season. We get to celebrate for a while. So from me, my family, John, his family, our team here at Forte Catholic, Merry Christmas.